Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, feeling particularly good because it's 2023. That means it's the year of Starfield, and all other Bethesda Game Studios games are a thing of the past. Except one. There's one that's going to follow us straight to our graves, and it's a game that starts with an S. It's called Skyrim. And yes, it's getting another update in 2023. And this update may make it more relevant than ever before. And my oh my, do I have some thoughts on this one, because I understand why a lot of people are going to be displeased with the idea of a Skyrim marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not delay any further. If you're new here, you're into Bethesda games, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. Let's talk about a Skyrim marketplace update. So if you head over to SteamDB right now, you can see all the various branches that Bethesda Game Studios is working on for Skyrim, and you can do the same for any other game available on SteamDB. For Skyrim, they have two branches open right now. One being Kala, which is working on the Canadian and Japanese translations for the game. And then there is Hopper. That branch is working on, as it says very, very plainly, Marketplace. Now let's set the table before we go any further. The marketplace for Skyrim is a whole entire conversation on why I think Bethesda truly wants to do this. And I'm going to address that first before the what's of this marketplace. So first and foremost, before any single update came to SteamDB, in September, Skyrim got a very small update that added a brand new feature called Installed Content. It's there. You can check the menu of what is installed within Skyrim. And to me, I found this one kind of strange. Why, after all this time? Is it because of managing the Creation Club content on top of some of the official DLC? I mean, it's a decent amount, but it's not so much that it demands an entire new menu over a year after the game had already come out with that Creation Club content. To me, it was a bit of a head scratcher. Just about a month later, Skyrim came out on GOG and Epic Games Store. And again, when you find out that there's a marketplace seemingly on the way, you start to connect all the pieces together and recognize the table is being set for this marketplace. Now, if you look at the changelog, you'll see that work really began on this, as far as we know, November of 2022. And the last update came December 2nd of 2022, presumably before Bethesda had left the office. Now, Bethesda does every year, as we learned around Skyrim's release, a internal E3 where they show off features and new ideas for different things within their own games. This could have been one of them. But here's the thing that I want to begin with above all else. And it's the reason why Bethesda would add a marketplace to Skyrim. And there's two of them. Number one is this direct quote here from Todd Howard on the Lex Friedman podcast. Listen for yourself on what he has to say about the modders and getting them jobs at Bethesda.
Like, I love the Khajiit follower mod for Skyrim. It's awesome. There have been quest lines. Those things just take a really, really long time. And so someone who's going to do that, that's almost like it takes them a long time. It's more than a hobby. And we're always looking at ways that we can make it like, hey, they can turn a career into it, because it's just awesome.
Now, my thought process when I heard this quote originally, and maybe it was naive of me, was, oh, you see these modders that are making Bethesda Game Studio style projects. You're going to hire them for the official team, bring them on board, and kind of continue the cycle of what a Bethesda Game Studios game is by having the previous generation teach the new generation and then repeating that cycle over and over. That was my thought process. Now, we also know, reason two, being the Creation Club existing. This was one of Bethesda's avenues to support modders. And it obviously wasn't received well. A lot of people called it paid mods. The pricing was egregious. Yeah, it was a pretty atrocious launch all around. And it was a tough conversation to have as someone who supports modders, is friends with lots of modders, but also has to say that the system itself sucked. And it sucked so bad that eventually Bethesda seemed to throw it out the window, stop supporting it, and instead put all that content packaged together in an anniversary edition update and practically gave it away for a complete steal. Like, that was, granted, another release of Skyrim, but the value there and what you got from all of the Creation Club content was a good deal. I just know it wasn't favorable to the community because some people are tired of Skyrim. But those are the reasons why I think Bethesda is doing this marketplace. They want to make money, right? That's an obvious one. They want to give modders a job. They have the Creation Club, and that flopped, so they want to seek another route. And obviously, this won't just be a Skyrim thing. I can guarantee this marketplace will make its way to Fallout 4, to Starfield. But let's talk about what a marketplace could be now that we've established why I think Bethesda wants to do this. So there's a couple of games that you could look at for this. If you want to look beyond the borders of Microsoft, you could look at something like Roblox, where full-on companies exist for Roblox to make games as a part of Roblox. Like, you can get a full-time job in the Roblox industry, if you will. Now, within Microsoft's borders, it would be something much more familiar to you all, known as Minecraft, and they have their own thing called Minecraft Marketplace, and it's there that they're constantly updating content for people to buy and download as a part of the game itself. Now, here is the kicker to me, and why I also think Bethesda wants to do this, is you can access the Minecraft Marketplace over on consoles with the Bedrock Edition. Here is the problem that Skyrim and Fallout 4 really had with mods on consoles. And it was a memory issue. You couldn't get the high profile mods. You could only get some of them. PlayStation's mods in particular were incredibly limited, while Xbox didn't have the big hitters many people were looking for. It was also really tough for modders to get their experiences onto consoles. And overall, it became, again, a bit of a messy situation here. But now, with a marketplace, you can bring possibly large-scale mods to the platform and allow people to download it. This does open up the avenue for official long-term support for Skyrim for decades, something that Todd Howard also talked about on the Lex Friedman podcast. Listen to this quote here about how long they think about supporting their games for after Skyrim.
People are going to play the next Elder Scrolls game for a decade, 2 decades. And that does change the way you think about how you architect it from the get-go.
Decades with an S. So when you hear something like that, when you think about something like that, obviously you can't dedicate Bethesda's manpower to that. They're simply not large enough to keep generating content for Skyrim. But they have a community that's already doing it, that's known for doing it, that's trusted with doing it. And if you could bring that to the marketplace, put a price tag on it, Bethesda collects a check, modders especially deserve it, collect a check, and eventually a Skyrim marketplace that could get as big as a Minecraft marketplace, where you could have full-on expansions coming out for Skyrim in 2024, 2025, is a crazy idea. And it's exciting because the wait for Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be insanely long. It has already been long. And maybe with the resurgence of Skyrim, this is a big maybe, by the way, imagine Bethesda stepping back in for an expansion that leads into Elder Scrolls 6. Obviously, a fool's hope and just a heavy dosage of speculation here. But these are the types of doors that open with a Skyrim marketplace. And I don't want to sound like I am washing this with positivity, because there is a lot that can go wrong here. And I'm going to talk about that as well. But I do get excited for my modder friends who provide us endless free content, who can maybe have a job in making Skyrim content and subsequently Fallout 4 and subsequently after that, maybe Starfield. It's just about when they decide to drop this news. I don't think there will ever be a good time for this news, whether it's now, next month, ahead of Starfield, after Starfield. People are going to react pretty negatively regardless. But if they let the dust settle, they come out with actually worthwhile content, that being the big kicker, I think people will start to adjust. Because the problem with Creation Club is when it came out, they're like, here's some skins, here's some weapons. By the way, because of the nature of the system, we can't add quests to the game. Sorry about that. Give us $15. Thanks. Back to my Minecraft example, much is the same there as it is with a Bethesda game. You can get a lot of these mod packs for free online. Don't got to pay anything. Don't got to go on the marketplace. But for those who are on consoles, they find the marketplace extremely useful. I think of that, and I can't really argue with that avenue. But there are some things that Bethesda has to work through with that. They had a ton of memory issues when it came to the Creation Club with console mods. There were heavy limitations implemented. But now with next-gen consoles, can we expand that? Can we expand what these games can hold? And if you can do that, then I look at something like a console player who never had a PC, never had interest in a PC, or never could afford a PC, maybe making that dream mod list they've seen in so many videos through the marketplace. So I do think there is some good to this beyond people making money, and it's that console players will be able to access these mods. But for us PC players, it's not going to be good. It's just going to be more of the same. And by the way, when the update installs and everything, unless you have updates turned off on Steam, it's going to completely ruin your mod list again. So be prepared for that. Now, one thing I also want to call out here that adds a little more legitimacy to Creation Club coming back in a new way is my buddy Juicehead. Now, he could not provide, it seems like, the actual screenshot to what was said on a Patreon post, likely because it's paid content, so it's walled off, and he did blur it out in his video. But someone who is a modder did post that Creation Club content would be coming back in a new way in 2023, so this does add legitimacy to it. I don't know who it is. I don't know where it was posted beyond Patreon, and I understand why Juicehead blurred it out, but I do trust Juicehead, so it was one of those things where I wanted to make sure I called it out since a couple of people were sending it my way saying, hey, Matty, do you know anything about this? Should we be interested in this? What's going on with the marketplace? My answer is the same. I just know it's from another modder. I don't know anything beyond that and even who it is. But the kicker here, I think, is the end of the road. Skyrim will continue to have its audience, will continue to have people play it, buy content for it, and I think this marketplace will generate a lot of revenue for Bethesda, whether the internet lights on fire or not. I don't think this stops with Skyrim. Let's go to Starfield for a moment here. Remember the 1,000+ planets, and Todd Howard saying, yeah, some of them are empty and like they're there for modders. Like he's talking about it in a known quantity, right? And we already know that for free, modders will go in and turn planets into full-on quest lines and stories and all that stuff. That will be incredible when that finally happens. But I cannot fathom the idea of them just doing this marketplace in Skyrim. I could totally see them taking that same Skyrim marketplace and making a Starfield marketplace where you can download content and it loads up these planets that were previously empty and turns Starfield into a platform. Why is that? Back to the original quote. When we make games, we got to think about how they're going to last for decades. And when we talk about Starfield, let's say it's a hit like we're hoping it is, the reality that no one is talking about right now is after Starfield is Elder Scrolls 6. After Elder Scrolls 6 is Fallout 5. What about Starfield 2? Exactly. It's going to be a hot minute before a Starfield 2. So that's why I truly believe that you're going to get your Creation Club, Marketplace, whatever it is, in all of these modern BGS games. And I do think, as I've said before, that when Fallout 3 and New Vegas come back, they're going to have Creation Club. I truly believe this new Marketplace thing, this new Creation Club, whatever it's going to be, is going to become a staple because it makes these games last forever, at least in the eyes of Bethesda Game Studios. So we'll see how all this turns out, but I think this is a long-term play by Bethesda, that they're going to go to their cash cow, to their reassured place, their security blanket, if you will, known as Skyrim. They're going to do it there first, probably Fallout 4 after. The fact that it's getting a next-gen update now, to me, still a head-scratcher. Feel like that was long overdue, but it's getting a next-gen update now in 2023. Okay, see you when we see you. I feel like it could be added there, where Creation Club content support also stopped, by the way, and eventually Starfield. That would just be my guess. And obviously a lot of guessing in this video. It's not official in the terms of a Bethesda announcement, but we see it here on SteamDB. It is called the Marketplace. It is pretty clear what can happen. And that's the information. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. Are you concerned? Are you excited by this? Because I think there's reason for both, believe it or not. I mean, I do think that the bad can outweigh the good if implemented horribly. But I do think the idea of Bethesda sort of having limitless fan content that you can download and purchase if you're a console user is awesome for those who can access it. And for those who don't want to pay it, it's already free and we know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, with Vortex and Nexus, they've really made it a super easy process. Like I remember when I first started modding, it was so confusing, but now it's so easy. It's just a click of a button. I love it. So I feel like we can win either way on PC. And at the end of the day, it's just about the console users where I think this marketplace is mostly going to be focused on. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I leave it in your hands. Let me know what you think about Skyrim's marketplace in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.